Welcome to the deep dive. I know you've been looking into getting more precise results from large language models, especially for generative content work. And today, we're going to unpack something called few-shot prompting. It's a really potent technique.
It really is. It's about using just a few carefully chosen examples to significantly boost the quality of LLM responses.
Especially for specialized tasks, right? Where you might not have huge data sets for training.
Exactly. And for someone with your background, the efficiency is really striking. You're skipping the heavy lifting of fine-tuning sometimes.
So instead, you're kind of guiding the model using its existing knowledge.
Precisely. You're leveraging its pre-training, but showing it in context how you want it to behave for the specific task. It's in-context learning, basically.
Okay, let's define it clearly then. Few-shot prompting is what? Giving the model maybe 2, 3, 4 examples.
Yeah, typically 2 to 4 input-output pairs. You show it, if I give you this kind of input, I want this kind of output.
And then you give it a new input.
And the expectation is it'll follow the pattern, the analogy from the examples you just showed it.
Got it. And it's not just memorizing those specific examples, is it?
No, not at all. It's smarter than that. It's identifying the underlying structure, the relationship between the input and the output.
So the examples act like implicit rules.
That's a great way to put it, an implicit instruction set, like showing a couple of worked math problems, then giving a new one that requires similar logic.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's make it concrete.
Yeah.
Maybe with something like professional emails. That's a common use case.
Perfect. Let's say you want your LLM to draft emails with a very specific professional tone and format.
Okay.
So example 1, input. Need to tell the team the project timeline slipped a bit.
Right.
Output might be. Subject, project timeline update. Dear team, please be advised there will be a slight adjustment. We now anticipate conclusion by new date. Best regards, your name. You know, the whole formal structure.
Okay, so that sets a benchmark for tone, subject line, closing.
Exactly. Then, example 2, input. Need to ask the lead dev for a meeting about integration issues.
Different topic, but still professional context.
Right. Output. Subject. Meeting request. Integration challenges. Hi, lead dev name. Hope you're having a productive week. I'd like to schedule a brief meeting. Please let me know what time works best. Your name.
So now we've shown it 2 variations, same professional standard, different specifics.
Precisely. Now give it a new input. Say, need to follow up on that design deliverable.
So even though I didn't specify, write a polite follow-up email with a clear subject, the model should.
It should infer it from the pattern. It's seen the template. You'd likely get something like subject, follow up, design deliverable, polite opening, clear ask, professional closing.
Much better than just a generic prompt like write an email about the deliverable.
Way better. The examples provide that crucial stylistic and structural context.
And this isn't just for text generation like emails, right? It works for more technical stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Think about data analysis. You might want the LLM to help you troubleshoot issues in a structured way.
Okay, how would that look? Give me an example.
All right, set 2, data analysis. Example 1, input. Marketing campaign didn't do well. Where do I start looking?
Okay.
Desired output. Here's a potential investigation strategy. 1, examine KPIs like CTR, conversion rate. 2, compare against benchmarks. 3, analyze targeting messaging. What specific KPIs are concerning you? See? It outlines steps and asks a clarifying question.
Right. It's not just answering, it's structuring the analysis.
Exactly. Example 2, input. User churn is up this quarter. Why?
Another common problem.
Output. Possible line of inquiry. 1, analyze churn versus active user demographics behavior. 2, review recent product changes. 3, check support tickets for themes. Can you provide churn data by segment? Again, steps plus a request for more data.
So if I then give it a new problem like, our website bounce rate spiked.
Based on those examples, it's likely to respond with a similar structured approach. Maybe suggest checking traffic sources, landing page issues, comparing segments, and it might ask for more specific data too.
That's really interesting. It's not just formatting. It's learning a methodology from the examples.
You've got it. It's conveying a problem-solving framework specific to that domain just through those couple of examples.
Okay, so we see it works. But why does it work so well, especially without explicit training? Let's get into the mechanism a bit.
Well, it taps into the LLM's massive pre-existing knowledge. Think of its internal representation of language and concepts. Each input-output pair you provide is like a really concentrated signal. It shows the before and after, demonstrating the transformation needed.
So it's finding similar patterns it already knows from its training data.
Exactly. It identifies analogous situations and applies the implicit logic from your examples. It's learning that specific task in context, on the fly, without needing its core programming changed.
Which is super valuable for niche tasks. Right? Where getting a big data set for fine-tuning is just not practical.
Totally impractical sometimes. So a few good examples can bridge that gap incredibly well. It gives you agility.
But it's not foolproof. You need good examples. What makes an effective few-shot prompt? Any key considerations?
Absolutely. Implementation matters a lot. First, example selection is critical. They need to be crystal clear.
No ambiguity.
None. Each one needs to perfectly show the input-output link, the format, the style, the logic you want it to copy. Bad examples just confuse it.
Quality over quantity, even with just a few. What about specificity versus generality?
That's a balancing act. Specific enough to demonstrate the task clearly, but general enough so the model can apply the pattern to new, slightly different inputs. You're teaching a principle using instances. Like our email examples, different topics, same core structure.
Got it. So identify the core pattern and make sure the examples hit it consistently. Does the order matter?
Yeah.
Example 1, then example 2.
Yeah, there's some evidence it can. It's task-dependent, but often starting simple and building complexity can help.
Like scaffolding the learning inside the prompt itself.
Kind of, yeah. Establish the basic pattern first, then maybe show a more nuanced case.
Interesting. And the number. Why 2 to 4? Why not 1 or 10?
Well, one shot can work sometimes, but 2 to 4 often gives enough context for the pattern to emerge clearly. More than that.
Diminishing returns.
Yeah, the prompt gets long, maybe exceeds the context window, or the signal gets diluted. Research shows that even a tiny number works surprisingly well because these models are good at meta-learning, learning how to learn quickly.
So it really pays to be thoughtful and strategic about crafting those few examples. It's not random.
Not at all. It's about understanding that in-context learning and designing your shots carefully. Do that, and you unlock a lot of power, especially for those tricky, specialized tasks.
So for everyone listening, as you work with LLMs, think about where a few really well-designed examples could help you steer the output for your specific needs. Could be more effective than you think.
Definitely. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it, if these models can learn so much from just a few implicit examples, what other subtle ways of communicating intent are we missing when we interact with advanced AI? It opens up interesting possibilities for the future of human-computer interaction.